We all have that one game that pushed us into our first experience of next-generation consoles. Whether it was Super Mario 64, convincing fledgling gamers to buy the N64, or Spider-Man Miles Morales, forcing players to queue up for hours in a vain attempt to get a PS5. And for me, growing up as a PS2 and the infinitely less interesting but still incredible GameCube kid, my first encounter with next gen came in the form of the Xbox 360. I'll never forget convincing my mum to pick up the tech from GameStation after crying because Resident Evil 5 wasn't going to release on the Nintendo Wii. And as well as the console, I had 3 games. One was the universal masterpiece that was the Alone in the Dark remake, while the other was some forgettable first-person shooter called Halo 3 or something. But I only had eyes for the third title, Turok 2008. The soft reboot in the long-standing dinosaur murdering franchise from the now-defunct studio Propaganda Games. And considering my other options, that might have seemed like a very odd choice.
Now give me my stone!
I don't have your stone, and fuck you anyway!
But young me loved playing Turok Evolution on the inferior GameCube. That is me just joking, by the way. I fucking loved the GameCube back in the day. And hands down, the best game on that system was Star Fox Adventures. That one isn't a joke.
Turn it down, Slippy. Hey! Slippy, it's General Pepper.
Anyway, Tiny Me didn't care that the original, also now defunct developers, Acclaim Studios, weren't returning for the reboot. Tiny Me didn't even know about behind-the-scenes game development or E3 trailers.
See Payback. Yeah, it's a great game.
I didn't even know the game was out until I saw it in the shop the same day it was bought for me. All that mattered to me was if I enjoyed my very first next-gen experience. And taking into consideration the only other 3 projects Propaganda Games ever worked on, those being a cancelled Turok sequel, a cancelled Pirates of the Caribbean title, and Tron Evolution, I like Turok Evolution, so maybe I like that too. Regardless, you'd probably have expected Turok 2008 to have been a big, stinking flop, which it wasn't. It may have emerged to mixed reviews from various outlets, but that didn't stop it shipping over 1 million units in its early release period. And also, to be perfectly fair, despite its age, Turok 2008 was, and still is, a damn good time. Ditching the pseudo-Native American sci-fi matchup established in the original games and comics, Turok 2008 pushes towards a much grittier, grayer modern style of world building. Because, you know, Gears of War was a big thing, so everything was just Gears of War for a bit. That, however, doesn't stop the gameplay from taking center stage. Dinosaur games are few and far between nowadays, which is baffling to me, because sneaking around the jungle, grabbing little ankle biters by the neck and slitting their throats, it sounds really horrible when you say it like that, but it's still an exciting variation of stealth that honestly, the genre could do more with. Plus, it was doing satisfying kill animations before they started to get way too long and cinematic. Looking at you, Red Dead.
Boring!
It's not just stealth that Turok 2008 managed to throw a fresh coat of paint on. Games in the mid-2000s, all the way to today, are littered with visually impressive, yet disappointingly soulless action set pieces. I can think of 10 just from Call of Duty games. While Turok does also have its fair share of bombastic, over-the-top action and hollow QTE-filled cutscenes, we can blame Resident Evil 4 for that one. It's never afraid to make the big, grizzled protagonist the lesser combatant in any fight. Sure, you mow down a small army of generic military-type dudes, if you're clever enough to whittle down their numbers with sneak attacks first. That's not where Turok truly shines, though. This T-Rex level has stuck with me for the past 14 years because it's so simple, but also equally as effective. Turok might not dip its toe as deep into dinosaur survival horror as much as games like Dino Crisis or Peter Jackson's absurdly titled Peter Jackson's King Kong the Official Game of the Movie, but it still masterfully handles the balance between prey and predator. The first time the game funneled me into this hollowed out tree, I remember mentally pumping myself up to leave the tree's safety and fight the T-Rex, because the game had done such a great job at convincing me I was the typical tough guy protagonist. So when I inevitably got turned into a dino snack, I started reevaluating my entire place in this virtual ecosystem. And a consequence of that was making every other encounter with a new enemy so much more intense. Unsurprisingly, the last time a game made me feel an unsettling combination of both strong and small was Turok Evolution. So if nothing else, I can say that Turok 2008 does live up to the standards of its predecessors, even if it's in nothing but tone and atmosphere alone. Plus it's got Ron Perlman, which is, it's got to count for something, right?
Oh, it's you.
Maybe I just like games set in jungles, or maybe it's because I find T-Rexes pretty fucking scary. Probably both. But there's something about Turok 2008 that stuck with me for 14 long years, filled with all sorts of games, good and bad. In fairness to the other titles out around that time, games like Far Cry 2, Fable 2, Gears of War 2, Saints Row 2, Army of 2, Resistance 2, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 2, and World of Goo, are all phenomenal in their own right, but none of them introduced the possibilities of next gen to me like Turok did. Okay, maybe Fable 2 did a bit, but I love Fable 2, so it doesn't count. Thank you for watching the video, guys. What game first introduced you to the concept of next gen? Feel free to let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, we'd really appreciate if you left a like or even subscribed. Also, if you had anything to give, our Patreon is in the description. We deeply appreciate all kinds of support, whatever form they take. Thanks again for watching, and cheers.